Hey, Karen, what are you doing by the way boot? I know you just gamble.
Gamble? Girl, I come to pay my HDC bill.
HDC bill by a NLCB lottery booth? Since when?
Since now. HDC makes it easier for me to pay my bill. All I do is give my name, account number, how much I want to pay, and that is it. I get my receipt and I go on.
Well, look, I never know that.
Yeah, and with access to over 1350 plus NLCB locations, I can pay anywhere in the country. I had to go quite to pay my bill, plus HDC on a collection driver, so they're cracking down on all who owe in. So you have no excuse. Saying so, you pay yours?
Girl, no girl.
You good, yes? Gamble all you want, but don't gamble with your home. Pay HDC first. Pay your HDC bill at any one of NLCB's lottery centers and visit hdc.gov.tt for more information. HDC, giving you more ways to pay.
What? That's what we're talking about. And that as I said to you, that making its wrongs are wrong mainstream media will create some sort of
also,
awareness.
When we launched this, we also placed some ads. So we had the strip ads in the newspaper.
Right.
We had the step-by-step of what you can do when you do go to the NLCB lottery booth. At all 1350 plus NLCB lottery centers, there's also a billboard showing you exactly what you need to do. So we went loud with a big campaign to inform our residents and our homeowners how they can pay their bills.
Very good. Very, very good. I must say, you're doing your job, Emily. You know, she needs any assistance. I'm available. You know.
No, she's fine. She's fine at HGC.
But I could come and assist. I'm not saying no. You know. So we're moving on to the interesting person in the room, Miss Anita. How are you?
I am good.
You sure? You know. You need plenty security, you know.
Yes.
You need, so I'm available if you need security.
Well,
Additional security.
You want to?
You know. I am seeing where you all are doing a lot of allocations. And I know for you that might be it's a task at times, because the demand for homes is something that I don't think HGC could ever fulfill.
No, we can't. So in that, I'll jump in to say to persons, the listeners, please don't get caught in someone trying to sell you the HDC home on the black market.
Okay.
So I know we may feel that there's some sort of desperation, but there's only one way, or some ways that I'll go through that you can get allocated. Mainly, we allocate through a random selection.
Okay.
So our last draw was held on in April this year, of which 250 blessed applicants were selected. So those persons we are in contact with, they are submitting documents. Some persons have moved on, which we are happy for.
Right.
And we will have another random selection draw, but we are asking persons to please don't get caught in these scams, because we have a lot of those, well, within recent times.
So is it, I wanted to get a little more information on the lottery system.
Right.
Because there was a big debate about this lottery system.
Yes.
How does this lottery system go?
Right. So when someone decides, you know what, I want to get a house from the HDC, they go on to the Ministry of Housing's, on their database, they apply, they will get a reference number. So when you apply, when you make that application, there are certain information the applicant would insert. When we do our random selection, it's based on that information. Hence the reason why we plead to customers, some of our ads, we would say, ensure that you update that database.
Okay.
So that when we have to do the random selection, you might be one of the blessed persons to be selected. Because if, for instance, we have units in the East, we will go onto the database and look for persons who meet the criteria. Criteria being, in the first instance, you have applied and your preference is in the East. Your qualifying power can cover the purchase price. And then we also try to get, in the first instance, persons who have been on the waiting
application
for a little
wait list.
while. Yeah.
Right.
So and we go between maybe 10, 15 years. I'm hesitating to say that because I know that will prompt some other questions. Because we do have persons. Reality is we do have persons waiting a little while. So again, our message is please utilize that the link, utilize that reference number, and continue to update your information. So when we do another draw, you might be able to be selected based on what your qualifying power is.
But to complete the process, when we are about to allocate homes, we would do a random selection, which is what she just explained.
Right.
And the random selection, after it's selected randomly and audited by an external auditor and done live, the names are chosen. When the names are chosen, they are published in the newspapers, and the agency also gets in contact with them to let them know that they were selected for these houses that are now available, and then they would confirm whether they are interested or not. And to be confirmed, there's another set of criteria which is required.
Right. So once you are selected, that is like the first door in. So you come off that database and you have been selected for us to interview or to see where you are in the process. So we will now look at if you're still a first-time homeowner, because you must be a first-time homeowner, you must not be part owner of a piece of land, must strictly be first-time homeowner. So I want to also say here, if you owned property before, please do not go and remove your name and still try to get, because it wouldn't work. You're not in that category of a first-time homeowner. So we will look at that. We'll do searches. We will determine if you are a first-time homeowner. The second major thing is to see what the customer can qualify for at this time. So as much as you would have updated it, we look at the pre-assessment certificate from either the banks or the TTMB, and that will tell us if you could meet the purchase price. And if so, then, and they are selected, we allocate.
You know, there are some people who would think that, well, I get the lottery system, I should get it for free.
No.
That's the mindset, because some people look at it from the angle of, you went and you do the lotto, and you pay $2 and you get 10 million.
Right.
So that's how some people thought or think that the lottery system in HGC goes, where they just randomly give some people free home.
And they also may think, because it's a lottery system, that they won already.
Yeah.
Whether or not they qualify, that they are entitled because they won.
Yes.
They applied, so they're entitled, and it doesn't work like that.
Wow. So
It
then,
doesn't work like that.
so then I had to change your name from lottery.
Well, it's the HGC. It's a random selection process.
Yeah.
And that was the fairest process to be able to appease to as many people as possible.
Beautiful. So, Miss Anita,
Yes, sir.
allocations. How is one allocated at home?
So
In the sense that, okay, so I went through the process, I applied, on the application they'll ask you, what do you want? A single unit or a townhouse?
right.
And you indicate townhouse, and you end up getting a single unit. That possible?
Oh, they wish. We wish we could give single family units, because that is the
Cry.
The
type
demand.
that is in high demand. Because there are 200,000 persons on our database, the corporation has to be very logical in how we construct. So we can no longer do the single family, but we're trying to do the apartments, which we've noticed customers refuse in some cases.
Wow.
So I want to bring some context. So several years ago, the government would have created an infill program and a SMCI program. The SMCI was a program in which they wished to train up young persons interested in the construction industry. And this program allowed for these young construction companies or persons to be able to build units for the HDC. The units were to be single family units because it was a complete house for which they would have been gaining experience and learning how to manage the construction process. And this was married with an infill program. The infill program is where the agency looked at all its developments across Trinidad to determine areas where a house can fill in a particular lot or plot size.
Yeah.
And after looking at that program and obtaining a list of or some areas where we could have done infill units, the SMCI program was formed. And this SMCI program, small medium contractors initiatives, is where the single family units were born.
Right.
So over a period of time, obviously, the number of infill lots will have reduced significantly. And so the agency is no longer really building as many as we did before.
Oh, okay.
And that is why the single family units are in demand, but in very, very short supply.
Wow.
Now, in order to satisfy the demand, the land is not created. And so you have to look at the yield for a particular parcel of land. If you can, maybe you can take a plot and build 2 houses, or you can build several units to satisfy more people. And this is why the agency looked at doing apartment buildings. It's something that they did before. They would have gone into constructing townhouses and the single family units, but really and truly to satisfy the demand, it will provide more units to our citizens if we do the apartment type buildings.
Houses,
and that is why we are at this point at this time.
But that's how mainly when you go to most of those first world countries like England and stuff like that, especially in London. In London now they are demolishing those single, well, they call them the duplex, what we will consider to be a duplex homes, and they are putting up flats.
Right, correct.
Right? Which some people not really happy with, but the Victorian houses are more going outskirts of London.
Yeah.
And so I understand what you're saying, and that's really how the world is going because of land space. All right, but Miss Akara, back to you, Miss Anita. I don't feel like forgetting it. There's an issue. I don't know if you saw it in the media about. Well, no, it wasn't in the media. It was on TikTok. A young lady would have done her opinion on the houses in Carlton Close.
Carlton Place.
Yeah,
Carlton
you saw it.
Place.
Where she's saying that the amount of money that you all are calling for the rental of those apartments, she thinks it's far-fetched. It's not any reach of...
Within the reach of affordable housing.
Yeah. Is there anything you all wanted to share on that? Because I think there are people who will have their hang-ups on certain things, but, you know, AGC sometimes, as you say, you know, if you all were to give a clear understanding of... Because those... I live San Fernando, and I can tell you, the convenience, number one, of where those places are is, come on, you can't expect to get that for $200.
Yeah.
So what we looked at in the first instance when we deliberated on the cost or the rental was, first of all, the cost of construction.
Right.
And also the cost of those actual units.
Wow.
So we do have persons who have purchased, and that range from $825,000 to $990,000 for those units. So the rental amount was in line with the cost of construction, the value of the property, and of course the purchase
And
price.
what they will pay for a mortgage. So what the AGC started doing, the AGC started having a independent opinion on what the prices should be.
Okay.
And then use that as its yardstick to adjust downwards
Beautiful.
the subsidized price for our customers.
Yeah.
And so in determining a rental price, we would have had an independent valuator provide us with an opinion of what the prices should be if it's sold or if it's rented. In any event, I do hear that the $5,000 might have been outside the reach of homeowners, but it was supposed to be semi-furnished apartment.
Okay,
And it would
okay.
have been within their mortgage amount
Beautiful.
in any event.
You know, I said that, why I'm glad you clearing this up. I nowhere in the information that is coming out, I never knew that was semi-furnished.
It's
So-
on the ad though, but
That's what I'm saying. So the
lady who
person
spoke
who's
about
doing
exactly.
it omitted that.
Yes, she did.
So if you omit some things and you just run with based on what you're saying to me, I am going to be like, okay, man, this is that. But then if you're now explaining to me, and that's why information is important to the public, and I just want to just pull this plug into you, and especially as a communications person, you see when things like that come out, you should be on it and let people know, hey, yes, you may have your concerns, but take this into consideration.
Yes.
You're getting a semi-furnished
Yes,
place.
yeah.
It's walking distance from the city,
Yes.
and all these things, and
And
people will
remem-
give a different
Yeah.
view.
Yes,
Yeah.
and remember there are also charges, maintenance, monthly maintenance charges. Who collects your garbage and how are they paid?
Yeah.
Who paints the building every 5 years?
Wow.
Who ensures that the roof doesn't leak?
Leak, right?
How is the elevator being paid for?
Yeah.
And that is why that is the price point for the rental.
You see, so you all should take that and put it on the TikTok.
Yes, Pastor Google, I hear you.
You have to, you have to, because I'm saying to you that there are people, there are persons out there who
Spreading the misinformation,
and once misinformation takes root, nothing you could say after. You know, the old people have a saying, nothing could wash you. When some people put them out on you. You understand? And you see, now more than ever, especially where social media is concerned, and these AI voices, you have a lot of work on your hand, ma'am. A lot.
So she needs some help.
Yeah, I'm willing.
I know you're going to throw that.
I am willing to assist the young lady.
Yeah.
Right? So I want you all to share with Trinidad and Tobago some more information and some things that I know that persons will want to know. How long should one wait? Or I know that you all cannot provide homes to everybody. People have expectations. But if I am 48,
Or 70.
no,
We have 70-year-olds still on the database.
how long should one wait? Let's be realistic. If the communications lady there going to get married, she has a child, living in mommy house, and she's saving to one day get a call from me, and you're realizing that the clock ticking away on you.
But I think AGC is an option. It's an option
People
for
don't see
housing.
agency as an option,
Well, it's an option.
Okay.
Right? And it's an option until we can do better.
Beautiful.
And so, in terms of waiting, I mean, in other countries, this is a note that was presented to my board, and for which, a presentation has to be made to our honorable minister. But in other countries, you are allowed to have your application on for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months.
Right.
Never till
Lifetime.
whenever. Correct. And it's something that we would want, the government to consider, that you have to reapply if your conditions are still the same and you're still interested in having a HDC house, that you reapply for that option.
Right.
But it's really an option, and the option is dependent on several factors.
Yeah.
Available lands,
Yeah.
persons who are no longer in need of a HDC house being off the database, so we really have an idea as to what we need to build and how many units are required. The other issues are the resources, the financial resources, and this is why we want people to pay so that we can continue to build.
Right.
The other issues that impact on the availability of the housing as well is whether people will accept the units that we build and what they expect of us to build, right?
Yeah.
So Minister has asked us to go back to our moorings, and that we are not to build houses outside of the reach of the citizens for whom we are supposed to build.
Hats off to you, Minister.
Good afternoon, Minister.
Hats off to you, Minister.
And Prime Minister, my Prime Minister.
And minister in the ministry.
Yes.
Thank you,
And
Minister.
my Chairman Garcia, of course. Yes.
So you're going back to the mandate? One.
Yes, she has mandated us.
Yeah.
She recognized that we were not building rental units.
Yeah.
And so we are building 200 rooms, 199, 200
Yes,
units,
200
sorry,
units.
at Citrus Close. So she has mandated that we go back to affordable housing, whether it's for
Beautiful.
mortgage units or rental units.
Beautiful.
And so that is where we are now.
Going back to the allocations, lady, before we go to the phone lines. I just have one other question I need you to answer. Because for clarity,
Yes.
so I am allocated a home.
Right.
I got the home. What are the proceedings after that?
First off the bat,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you make your monthly commitment, be it at the institution that you borrowed the money from to pay us off,
Right.
or if the client is in some sort of short-term rental with us, please make sure that you make your payment. Firstly,
Right.
we do have, and just to share and to highlight some of the good things that Kimberly has been doing, we do have a handbook series that is on our social media
Okay.
that speaks to what happens life after your allocation. So
Okay.
your do's and your don'ts. So we want persons to enjoy their property, live in peace, live in harmony, but there are some restrictions for certain types of the units. So if you want to demolish, and yeah, we do have persons who are blessed enough that they could expand later. We do say that there are regulations and restrictions that they must follow. They can have a chat with us and also with the Town and Country Division. So I don't know if that is what you're asking, but
So-
in a nutshell, live in peace, make your payment.
Okay.
And honor your homeowners association as well.
All right.
Payments.
Cool. So I'm allocated a unit. So let's say I want to, I find the door too small, and I want to put a bigger door. I don't have a problem with that.
So any remediation has to be approved.
Okay.
So we expect the external facade to be the same, and you can do whatever you want on the internal, your home internally. We also expect no dogs, because we do have
Okay, no
issues
dogs,
from
okay.
neighbors about dogs. About one person called me 3 weeks ago about her neighbor burning incense. She called the police, so people have to live in harmony, and there's a no pet policy, obviously, because dogs can be harmful to others, and so no dogs are allowed.
So for persons who also acquire their financing through a mortgage company, there are certain limitations. So because remember the property is mortgaged to that institution, so the client will also have to have a conversation, acquire the relevant permission. That's one, and they're always tied to the sublease, which is for 199 years.
Okay.
So when in doubt, go back to your sublease,
Yeah.
which is almost like a 10-page legal document
Yeah.
that guides you as to how and what you can and cannot do in the first instance. And after a couple years, then they must go to the Town and Country if you need to change the blueprint, the general blueprint or footprint of the property.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay, I hear you.
So they can, but with the relevant permission.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
And I want to also just, in passing, I want to commend your welfare department in HGC.
Okay, our social
Yeah, social.
department.
Yeah, they
Great.
do a fantastic job where mediation is concerned. I've seen them done some stuff in San Fernando with some tenants and issues.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
and
they will-
also our legal department as well, because they're
Yeah.
guided by the legal department as to
how to do it, how to go about it.
Yeah.
But those ladies in that department does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I must say, they I don't know how
And
you
I
will
be-
go
and
about
I
training
believe
them.
the ad that we played.
Yeah.
They did that ad too from social.
No, they didn't.
The ladies from
it
our
was
social.
Kimberly.
No, not the voiceover. The actual play.
Yeah, because that place sounds familiar.
Yes, yes, yes.
That
Okay,
is our
sounds
social.
familiar.
So you
officer.
see, we
Yeah.
really working to be the best, the best,
Yes, MD. Yes,
the
yes.
best.
Yes, MD. Your
Ministry.
appraisal coming up quickly. Your
It
minister
went
doing
already.
appraisal
It
just
went
now?
already.
Oh, your appraisal one already? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay,
we're really
okay,
working
okay.
to be the best
I hear
agency.
you. The phone lines are going crazy. I know my boss is listening, so I have to do my job
Of course.
to the best of my ability. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Good
caller. Good afternoon.
You know, I feel very safe after Google. I feel safe. After hearing these two young ladies, I feel that
Two? It's three.
three. Sorry, ma'am. After hearing these three young ladies, I feel my nation is safe. These young ladies have the drive, have the know-how, understand what this is about. But you know one thing, ladies? I would like HDC to set up a program. People of my age who looking for a house and applied years ago and didn't get through, let me make a monthly installment now for 5 years or 10 years. I separate something for, you understand what I'm saying, ladies? Or let's set up a special program. People of a particular age, we make a contribution for 10 years or 5 years, and once we continue the criteria, we could get a home.
All right.
So what's something we're referring to now, ma'am? You understand my thing, sister?
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies. Keep
All
it up.
Welcome. Have a nice day.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good day.
Good day.
I was hearing one of the young ladies saying no dogs. I live in an agency house area. And my street, people walking in the street and dogs rushing them like that. So what, in a case like that, what you all do? Or you all get rid of the dogs? Or so if my place is blocked or wrong, even says, can't I have a dog for security purposes?
All right.
Well,
Okay.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
okay. So there was an incident at one of our developments where a dog would have mauled somebody, and it went to court, and the agency became liable. And as a consequence of that, we have a no dogs policy. So we rely on our residents to write to us and let us know where there is an issue with pets, with dogs specifically, so that we can address it. So we would not like, we are trying to build safe communities, and in as much as people are entitled to dogs for security purposes, there are other residents that it can impact negatively. So there is a no pet policy at the HDC.
Okay, let's take a next call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, you Pastor Google.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the three lovely young ladies from the HST.
Good afternoon.
Three lovely young ladies. I hear you,
Yes,
sir.
I have respect for women. Right.
That's ask your question quickly now. Time
I
going.
have a problem there, Pastor Google and the ladies there. No, I would have applied since I was probably a good while now.
Yeah. 17
right?
years old.
And 7 years, yeah. Right? And I got a number, but no one hasn't called me, or nobody hasn't really reached out to me then. So what is my next step or next course of action going forward?
All right.
All right. So
Thank you.
good afternoon, caller. So the agency does not call people when they apply. You're just applying for a house. We would only call you when you're randomly selected.
Right.
You would be randomly selected when there are houses available.
Right.
And your criteria matches the houses that we are about to give to our customers. If when you applied 7 years ago, you may have been working for, let's say, $4,000, and the qualifying income for those units are $7,000 and above. The agency, you will not be selected randomly, because that data says that you're unable to afford.
Yes.
So what Amita just mentioned is that we employ our customers to update the database,
Right.
so that when there is a random selection, you will be called.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, caller.
Pastor Google, a pleasant good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Say a special hello to those three splendiferous, fantabulous young
Hey, time going, you know.
I have a simple question. What about small contractors getting payments and small contractors getting a chance in HDC? Have a fantastic rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. So good afternoon, listener. As it relates to our construction program, we are governed by the OPR, the Office of the Procurement Regulator, and that that governs how contracts are awarded. When the HDC is about to have a construction, not a program or a project in a particular area, it will be advertised. It's advertised in our database, and all persons are welcome to bid, and then the bids are evaluated from which an award will be made. Particularly small contractors, we do have 2 sub-programs. Well, we have 3 programs. We have the large construction projects, for which the contractors, when they register on the OPR, they will say from what financial band they are interested in. We have the small contractors program, which is the SMCI that was created several years ago. There are people who would have been pre-qualified for that particular program, and those persons are currently, they are the ones that are currently carrying out or executing that program. And then we have a remedial program. So provided that the person's name is on the database, on the OPR database, and when the HEC advertises projects to get done, small ones, the remedial program, they then go to our website on our, it's a TSCT program called eTender, and they apply, and our team evaluates. We look at the ability to carry out the job. We look at your financial ability as well, and then the team recommends and the person is awarded. Now, I need to put a plug in. The HDC is very much aware of the complaints that our customers make in terms of the quality. And our minister is also very, well, she also wants us to ensure that there's quality in our construction. So just this morning I had a discussion with our group procurement officer on how we are going to do contracts management, and we are now going to be keeping tabs and making reports to files of our contractors when their work is substandard. Yeah, we can no longer, I mean, we know people are learning on the job in the small contractors initiative, but we do expect that, you know, people put their best foot forward when they are building the units, because our customers are the ones that are impacted, and it carries up the financial, well, the HEC has to spend additional funds in repairing things that it ought not to. So this is something that we are going to be very active, just as how we're active with delinquent customers. We are going to be very, very active with contractors who do not put their best foot forward if they can.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so last caller, as we are about to close. So let me take this last call. Hello, good afternoon.
Pleasant good evening.
Good afternoon, sir.
I was hoping that I would hear something about other people renting out the HDC unit.
Well, you are on now, so you could ask that question.
Yes, like they live in somewhere else, and how they get this unit, they decide to rent it out. I think about 2 or 3 units in the same building.
Right.
And they rent it out at $3,000 a month.
Beautiful. So they're going to answer your question, right?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're most welcome, sir. How do you all address that situation? Somebody say, hey, I got HCC house, you know, but I live in somewhere, and I inherited it, you know, but it's not on my name yet. It's not on my name, but I live in here, and I can rent out the HCC place. How you all do that?
All right, so once the HEC is so informed, the HEC will take action. Anyone can rent their unit if they are the owners of it. If they've paid off for their unit, they own it. They, I guess, you have rights to your own self-enjoyment of your property, and so someone can do that under those circumstances. However, if they are renting from the HDC and subletting, that's a different issue.
Just now. So, I was allocated a home. I went to my financial institution. I got the mortgage. I paid off HEC. I'm now paying the financial institution for my home. Could I rent it out?
It all depends on what your restrictions on your contract with your financial institutions.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so the financial institution that I would have got the money from to pay off HGC.
Right, yeah. And remember, you're binding to what is on the sublease.
Right.
So you have to continue to go back. Now, this is subsidized homes.
Mhm.
So we expect that persons who do not need the units, please don't
Yeah.
come and ask or accept it. If you don't need the housing, please don't go that way.
Because you know there are some people, let's be honest here, and you all may not be aware, and I don't want you all don't want to chime in, but there are some persons who would have allocated that, would have gotten a unit. Boom, I get my unit, I went through my financial thing, and I end up getting a job in France. And I've gone to France in order to pay my financial institution off faster. I decided to go to France.
Right.
But the unit empty. Nobody are living in the unit. And I say, you know what? Best I let it out. And that extra funds could go towards upkeep of the unit. You know that some people think like that?
I've gotten a letter like that recently, and the person, same situation, the person was migrating and they wanted permission from the agency to sublet the unit. So they do right, and they would get the permission from the HDC, but it's not a right to have a rental unit and to sublet it.
Okay.
And maybe it's something we should have a hotline for.
Of course.
So that we could clean up that as well.
Yeah.
And get that
I
practice
tell you, give me the
stopped.
job with the communications lady. Give me the job. I could do a part-time. I sure I could do a good little job with you.
I have the space for you.
I was just about to say we don't have space in my department.
Well, as the MD,
Maybe work remotely, we could see.
but as the MD, if it's not on the org structure, we cannot fill that vacancy because it does not exist.
Madam Minister, you listening?
It does not exist.
Madam Minister, you listening to this MD? You have to do for that appraisal. Madam Minister, you have to do for that appraisal.
So if there's no vacancy, we can't appoint a person to the position. Sorry.
Wow. Create the position now. I'm willing to work with you. Look at good ideas I'm giving you.
Yes, that's true. But we accept pro bono as well.
Yes.
So if you'd like to work without
Volunteer
pay
some
and
time, yeah.
Well, Trinidad and Tobago, it was nice having HGC here with me today. I see you all calling in, but I can't take any more of your calls. And the MD has promised to come back.
Yes, I did.
Okay then, and I find there
So
was just
we
some
will.
silence
So
there,
we
some
will.
dead air, you know. So the MD has promised to come back. Mr. Anita, you coming back?
Of course.
You sure? I find you something like a treat you. I ain't really. I ain't rough. I ain't thing.
No.
Communications?
Definitely. I realize I'm very welcomed here.
You get water on there.
Good afternoon, Michelle. Yes, I got water.
So we look forward to having you all back.
Yeah.
And I hope that Trinidad and Tobago would have taken the information that we would have shared with you all today. It's valid information, really good information. Some things I didn't even know.
Pastor Google, can I just share some numbers again?
Sure, you can.
All right. So if any have any queries, just remember to reach out to communications@hdc.gov.tt or customer care at hdc.gov.tt. You can call us at 612-7432, extension 4103 or 4104.
All right, and those numbers are on the television. If you are watching us on Facebook and on YouTube, those numbers are there for you to see. So it's right over our heads, so you can see those numbers. All right?
Yeah.
All right, so thank you all very much again for being with me most part of the afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, listeners.
I look forward to having you all again
Great.
with me right here on the street, 919 FM. So Trinidad and Tobago,